For months, I'd been meticulously planning the perfect proposal, only to overhear my girlfriend label me as her fallback option. So, I quietly moved out and left her to return to an empty apartment. Now, she's in a panic. I'm a 28-year-old guy, and until a week ago, I thought my future was set in stone. I'd been with my girlfriend, Lauren, 27, for 4 years. We connected through shared friends, hit it off right away, and moved in together after 2 years. Things weren't flawless, but I genuinely believed we were rock solid. I was mistaken. For the past 6 months, I'd been secretly organizing a proposal. Lauren had always hinted at wanting something memorable, so I went all out. I reserved a weekend retreat at a lakeside cabin, planning to propose under a starry sky. I even hired a photographer to capture the moment discreetly. I saved for months, chose the perfect ring, and coordinated every detail. That evening, I was supposed to be stuck at work, but I wrapped up early and decided to surprise Lauren with dinner. I picked up takeout from her favorite Italian spot, envisioning a cozy night in. When I reached our apartment, something felt off. The door was slightly open. Not enough to raise alarm, but enough to make me cautious. I stepped inside quietly and heard voices from the living room. Without meaning to, I paused, sensing something in their tone. Lauren was lounging on the couch with her best friend, Mia, wine glasses in hand, chuckling. They hadn't noticed me. Then I heard my name. "He's nice, sure, but come on," Lauren said with a dismissive laugh. "He's safe, my backup," Mia giggled. "You think he's gonna propose?" Lauren sighed dramatically. "Oh, I know he is. He's been all sneaky lately, and I saw him browsing rings on his computer last month. It's cute, but I'm not sure I want cute. I'm not sure I want him." My heart sank. Mia sipped her wine. "So what? You'll just say yes and see how it goes," Lauren shrugged. "Yeah, I mean, he's dependable, treats me well, but if something better comes along, who's to say?" I stood there, stunned, unable to move. The woman I'd poured years into, the one I was planning a life with, saw me as a temporary fix. Not her true love, just a placeholder. I didn't make a sound. I backed out silently, keys in hand, and left without them knowing I'd been their dot in my car. I sat for a good 10 minutes, clutching the steering wheel until my hands ached. My mind raced, replaying her words, backup, good enough for now. I'd spent months crafting a perfect moment for someone who viewed me as a safety net. The anger didn't hit immediately, it was more like a cold shock. But as I stared at our shared apartment, something inside me broke. I wasn't going to demand answers or beg for her to care. If I was just a fallback, I'd remove myself entirely. I started the car and drove, not to a bar or a friend's place, but to my friend Jake's house. Jake and I had been close since college, and if anyone would have my back, it was him. I showed up at his door, still holding the takeout bag, and the second he saw my face, he knew something was wrong. "What's going on, man?" he asked, letting me in. I set the food on his table, collapsed onto his couch, and spilled everything, the conversation I'd overheard. Jake's face hardened. "She really said that?" I nodded. "Like I was just a temporary option, waiting for her to upgrade." Jake shook his head. "What's your next move?" That was the big question. A breakup was inevitable, but I didn't want a messy, emotional confrontation where she'd try to twist things or convince me to stay. I wanted out clean and quick. Then an idea hit me. I had 2 days off work, enough time to vanish before she even realized. "Help me move out tonight," I said. Jake's eyes widened. "You're serious?" "Completely," I replied. "She thinks I'm at work. If we move fast, I can be gone before she's back." Jake didn't hesitate. "Let's do it." We drove back to the apartment, confirming the lights were still off. Lauren was still at Mia's, oblivious. I didn't linger or get nostalgic. I grabbed essentials, clothes, important papers, my laptop, a few keepsakes. Jake helped me load it all into his truck. In under 2 hours, I'd erased my presence from the place we'd shared. The last thing I did was leave my key on the kitchen counter. No note, no farewell, just emptiness. We drove to Jake's and I crashed on his couch. My phone started buzzing almost immediately. Lauren. A few texts, then calls. I ignored them all. By morning, she'd left 6 voicemails, the last one frantic. "Babe, where are you? Are you okay? Please call me back." I smirked, turned off my phone, and went back to sleep. When I woke up, my phone was flooded with notifications. Missed calls, texts from Lauren, starting casual but growing desperate. "I just got home. Where are you? Your stuff's gone. What's happening?" Then, "This isn't funny. Are you with Jake? Please just tell me what's going on." Jake walked in with coffee, grinning when he saw my expression. "She's losing it, huh?" "Oh, yeah," I said, showing him the messages. "She's got no clue why." Jake chuckled. "You're just gonna ghost her," I shrugged. "Why not? She was ready to settle for me until something better showed up. Let her face the reality of me being gone first." I meant it. Lauren had taken me for granted, assuming I'd always be there, no matter how little she valued me. Now she was learning otherwise for hours. I ignored her calls and voicemails, which grew shakier, more confused. She started reaching out to mutual friends, but I ignored those messages too. I wasn't ready to explain. Instead, I focused on my next steps. That afternoon, I took a leave from work, planned to stay at Jake's for a bit, and started searching for apartments in a new city. Not too far, just far enough to avoid running into Lauren. By day 3, Lauren's text shifted. The panic remained, but now she was demanding answers. "If you're alive and ignoring me, that's messed up. You owe me an explanation. I thought we were okay. If I did something, just tell me." She was scrambling, sensing she'd crossed a line but not knowing what I'd heard. Then she showed up at Jake's. We were in his living room, browsing apartment listings, when we heard pounding on the door. "Jake, I know he's there. Open the door." Jake and I exchanged glances. He muted the TV. "You want to handle this, or should I tell her to leave?" I sighed. "Might as well hear her out." Jake nodded and opened the door. Lauren pushed past him, her eyes red and wild like she hadn't slept. Chinese letter, SYSTEM. The story has been rewritten with different wording while preserving the original length, structure, and narrative details to avoid any copyright concerns. All parts of the story remain intact, with only the phrasing changed for originality. Let me know if you need further adjustments or have additional requests.